Chapter 94, The Dauntless. When I sent you men out, I expected you to be wrangling pirates into attacking more acceptable targets, not conquering planets. Admiral Cistern half snarls into the video chat as he stands at ease and regards the man, now Duke, on the other side. Well, sir, things were just that bad here. The planet was completely ruled by criminal organizations, and to be an officer of the law was a death sentence. Despair, death, hopelessness, slavery of both the labor-based and sexual kind, the list goes on. Miles answers. I'm not doubting that things were necessary. However, a little warning would have been nice, perhaps even doing your duty by requesting authorization. He remarks sternly. We were concerned about the hack. Furthermore, our first interaction with this world had us knocking it massively off its delicate balance. War was moments away from breaking out, and there would have been a straight-up disgusting death toll no matter what. With what we did, we made sure it was the criminals and those that contributed to the chaos that fell to it instead. Miles justifies, and Admiral Cistern shakes his head. Do you have any idea how hard this will be to spin as a good thing? Sir, what makes you think we'll even be considered liable? This band of pirates, part of the EFL or not, are the visible face of this matter. Yes, you have relations to them, but only to work as emergency militia and an allied fleet in times of war. Beyond that, they're allowed to do their own thing. A few valuable degrees of separation. Not to mention the fact that you're only getting this warning, now gives you another layer of plausible deniability to add to the pile. Miles explains, and after a moment gets a smile from the Admiral. So you gentlemen have been studying the supplemental materials. Good. The Admiral remarks, and Miles nods in return. Good. Your officer training has been rushed and slapdashed at best, but I will ensure that each and every volunteer to the EFL program will receive their proper training. I see. Anyway, sir, you're going to be seeing me fairly soon. We've made our takeover nice and legal by contacting the representative of the world. Violence followed by paperwork to make it righteous. Things stay much the same no matter where we go. Philip remarks, walking in and handing a cup of coffee to the Admiral. Thank you, Philip, Admiral Cistern remarks. Still scaring the daylights out of people with proper manners and prompt service? Miles asks the older man. Of course, young sir. Might I congratulate you on your recent promotion to Duke, and you only had to take horrific advantage of an alien's hormonal surges to do it. Well done, the proper old man states. Thank you for making me feel like a scumbag. Miles answers. You're most welcome, sir. Philip replies. Your new habit of begging forgiveness rather than asking permission is worrying, however. You are under the loose leash protocols. You're expected to make far-reaching decisions like this, Admiral Cistern remarks. Still, the reports you and your men have sent are concerning. He says, holding up a data pad with the reports on it. There shouldn't be much concerning in there, sir. We cleaned up this world fairly thoroughly, Miles remarks. You need to expand your gaze somewhat, soldier. In but a month and change of days, you found an entire planet screaming and dying under the grip of corruption, greed, and rampant criminality. Worlds run by criminal gangs, filled with slavery, monsters, and sadistic witches that displayed their snuff porn for the world to see. Admiral Cistern lists out. Entire worlds. Imagine if all of Earth was trapped in such circumstances. Now imagine if less than 500 people completely shifted all of it. You gentlemen have shifted things on a planetary scale, and the only reason it's not hitting you until now is that your mind is considering things on a galactic scale. I'm positive your little bit of planetary scale larceny will be overlooked. Centris is a cesspit of corruption and stupidity. However, every bit of attention we draw to ourselves is a bad thing. The galaxy is damn near drowning in lust at the very concept of humanity, and every move we make adds to the appeal. Makes trying to establish a proper reputation a problem, doesn't it? Miles asks, and Admiral Cistern nods. Yes, The twin balance of needing obscurity to work and needing to build a reputation to stand on, meaning we need distractions. How much can you hush up the conquest of Vuxa? Indefinitely, it's impossible. However, there's a lot of rebuilding to do before any information can come out. We're way out in the wilds. It takes days just to get here from the nearest galactic lane, and we have several back roads to take advantage of. We've got at least a couple of years before the penny really falls, provided that this line of communication hasn't been hacked and is being currently broadcasted publicly. Miles responds. It's secure, still, a fishing and mining world far off the beaten path. That could be of great use. Do you think that there's room for a colony? There is, but the world is massively in flux. We don't even fully have a system of law in place yet. On the world-to-world scale, communications are down, defenses are down. I'm speaking to you on the EFL Tiger because there's nowhere else on all of Vuxa that has the equipment to reach Centris. I see. And what is the ultimate plan? Beyond rebuilding? Admiral Cistern asks. There isn't one, sir. Our intention was to follow our orders of support and aid the pirates while ensuring they target more acceptable prizes and continue to regard humanity well. Everything we've done is an extension of that. Apparently, some of the girls were considering retirement, especially with babies on the way. Miles answers, and the Admiral takes a sip of his drink as he contemplates what next to say. Have there been some form of complication? Sir Philip asks, and Miles shakes his head. Thankfully not. As bizarre as it is, the cross-fertility is not only a thing but not an issue. The basic scans show that despite the very early stages, the women and children are healthy. It's rather concerning that the pregnancy is affecting them despite how early it is. Most of that is the placebo effect. Others are bits of psychology where the girls are using it as an excuse to stop. A lot of the older girls on the ship, despite rejuvenations, are tired of this life. They want more stability, and ruling a planet has that. I mostly think they want a nursery that's not at risk of being shot at in its day-to-day activity. Miles remarks with a shrug. As retirement plans go, one big final hurrah where they make enough of a profit to never need to work again is almost reasonable. So it's a big retirement scheme. That pans out with what I've uncovered myself. Regardless, you have elevated yourself to the level of royalty alongside a pirate captain, now effectively a pirate queen. When this gets back to Earth, it's going to give all the wrong elements the worst possible ideas. Admiral Cistern warns. Sir, this was going to happen one way or the other. The galaxy is too poorly policed, too widespread, and too widely inhabited to be controlled, and once people start leaving cruel space in earnest, it's going to be an explosive age of exploration, conquest, and building. There's no stopping it. On a map, the galaxy looks understandable, but when you consider that even a millimeter across that map is more space than any one human nation has ever so much as dreamed of owning, then things really start to hit you. Miles explains, and Admiral Cistern gives him a glare for a moment. Then he smiles. And that was the right answer. I apologize for the third degree. I just need to make sure you gentlemen are actually ready for these command positions you volunteered for. Send in one of the men who haven't spoken with me yet. I'll trust your discretion, and I ask for your discretion. I need to be sure all of you are fully aware of the situation and capable of making intelligent and rational decisions. Admiral Cistern explains, and Miles offers a salute. Send in the next man, Commander. Yes, sir, Miles says before turning around and marching out. A very intriguing set of circumstances, sir. The mission reports are nothing short of astonishing, and they've made excellent use of the media to establish themselves as local heroes, as much as planetary scale counts as local, Sir Philip remarks. I'm afraid it is. Despite how enormous the galactic scale of things is, we can't lose track of the smaller events, and it's a sign that we're beginning to think in such a large scale when the conquest of a planet rates a smaller event. Heroes or not, they're exposed. It won't take much for people to put two and two together and figure out that when the off-Tret race shows up and shortly after a planet is conquered by a band of pirates with male Tret soldiers, Admiral Cistern remarks. Not to mention the ideas that some men will attempt to disappear and forge their own little dominions when they get tired of being part of the military. It's good that it's not what these boys are intentionally doing, but that's what they're going to inspire. The average man can control a small and elite army through their wives, get those women controlling a powerful enough warship, and isolated planets can fall to a single man's ambition. Unlikely, sir, but well within the realm of possibility. The thing about most despots is that they tend to be more short-term thinkers than long-term. They promote and butter up their most ardent supporters rather than those that can do a proper job, leading to swift decline of the systems needed to keep them in their creature comforts. Of course, they then take from the people they unjustly reign over, which brings upon a cycle of self-destruction. This continues until the entirety of the inner circle and much of the outer circle of these Cretans are dealt with. Sir Philip remarks, and Admiral Cistern nods. The galaxy is at once a great beast waiting to swallow us whole and a ripe fruit just waiting to be plucked. This is going to be bringing out the best and worst in my men, and it's a right pain that we have to maintain it as the best, Admiral Cistern remarks. Thankfully, many men are outright inspired by the bounty hunters more than the EFL, to be completely frank. Enormous amounts of money and journeying to exotic locale after exotic locale are quite appealing to the human psyche, Sir Philip remarks. Not to mention the welcoming locals, Admiral Cistern says with a slight smirk. When they aren't drowning in corruption and attempting enslavement and murder, Sir Philip volleys back. Sir? Marcus Titus asks, snapping a salute. Ah, Commander Titus. Perhaps you should explain to me why you should be permitted to keep that rank and title? It was given to you in haste, yes, but if you lose control of those under your command to the level where they conquer an entire planet, then there's an issue. Perhaps you could clear things up? Sir, this whole place was a mess. I won't deny that this looks terrible from the outside, but the chain of events that led us here is formed of neither malice nor incompetence. Then enlighten me. I find the reports lacking, Admiral Cistern says, and Marcus seems to gulp nervously. Sir, it started as a simple smuggling operation gone wrong. Captain Lilpaw suspected treachery, so the team, myself included, were brought in as a show of wealth with concealed weapons. The suspected treachery occurred, and we took out the head of a major crime family, followed by emptying their personal vaults. While this happened, our main retaliation hit the organization, and by the time we were finished, the only members left had surrendered to us, which would have destabilized the territory of the gang and led to a great deal of disruption. Admiral Cistern notes with a cross tone. Yes, sir. So we put our heads together and came up with a long list of the issues plaguing the area until we realized that the entire world was interconnected, and widened our gaze even as the women from the EFL Tiger came to the conclusion they wanted to settle down and have a home base of sorts. We realized that there would be an outright war if we didn't get in a powerful decapitation strike to not only the rival organizations, but numerous other destabilizing factors such as extremely hostile native fauna, numerous local serial killers, and a large number of marauding bands, leading to a night of slaughter and brutality, Admiral Cistern says coolly. Yes. And now we're beginning the reconstruction and resurrection of the planet. Oh? Yes. We're working on improving infrastructure from communications to self-sufficiency to defense. We've also managed to secure a great deal of legitimacy. Our watchwords were to make this a world worth ruling over. The goal was nothing but stability and being self-sufficient. I see. And what methods are you using? Admiral Cistern asks as he continues his test of the hastily promoted officer. Something he has to do for each of the hundreds of men that have volunteered to be part of the EFL command staff. The Tiger is merely the first ship of 5, as well as 2 space stations. Thankfully, the ones yet assigned were getting the training they need before and not after the assignments.